In the ruins of a forgotten river crossing, where the stones sleep beneath the patient embrace of moss, there arises a place each year that feels borrowed from another realm, the Bazaar of Second Dawns, a market that does not settle but drifts, appearing with the first hint of sunrise, departing when the last lantern flickers out. The air there is heavy with the scent of old rain and lantern oil that whispers of days you've forgotten to miss. Here, under the sway of fragrant lights, merchants hawk wares unlike any other. Shoes that hum with untaken roads beneath your feet, bottles of courage distilled from lost hours, and maps that fork into what might have beens. But at its shimmering heart, where the morning sun kisses brass, there stands a tent crowned with a singular sign, Paths for Sale. This is where our story begins, with Seris Valen, a paladin, though no longer clad in the polished perfection of their former order. They stride through the crowds cloaked not in shining armor, but in the quiet garments of a wanderer. Just beyond their breastplate there lies a heavy lump of guilt, a wound no metal can protect against. A single name lingers always at the edge of their thoughts, the name of the soldier they failed to save on the battlefield, the mistake that cost not one life, but many. And so now Seris walks, an oath of redemption upon their lips, chasing a salvation they fear they may never fully find. With each step deeper into the bazaar, the scents of the lanterns draw forth memories unbidden, smells of dampness that feel like the morning after an old battle. A song played by a blind troubadour pricks at their heart. It's aged, cracked, as if regretting its notes. In their hand, Seris clutches something small, something less reverent than their oath blade, a faded charcoal sketch, water-warped and torn along its edges. It is the only image they have left of the soldier, her strong jawline softened by faint artistry. One corner of the page is marred by a thumbprint, darker than the charcoal, blood from that day. Someone interrupts their solemn thoughts. A figure brushes past. A laughing child with a kite spins wildly in the main square, glancing over their shoulder as they run. Seris watches as the child stops before a gnome merchant selling time charms, trading something, a silver coin. No, not quite. The merchant grins, and the child races off with a red and gold kite, now tethered to a string thin as spider silk. When they catch the gleaming edge of the merchant's scale, it reads one word: tomorrow. Seris exhales faintly, their breath catching. The sight draws them closer, closer to the tent where regret holds court. The counter waits there, a figure alien and ageless, garbed in flowing robes that seem to fade where shadow lingers and glimmer where light dares its touch. Their face is unremarkable yet utterly captivating, a face you'd trust just as quickly as you'd fear. The counter regards Seris with an inscrutable expression, speaking first with that knowing tilt of the head. "You've come far, Seris Valen." "Everyone does," the counter murmurs, motioning toward the rows of gleaming tokens sprawled across brass trays. Each one no bigger than a coin, soft pulses of light stirring within. These are paths. Each one buys you a single day, another what if, another chance. Seris's voice trembles slightly, though their stare remains firm. "And the cost?" The counter smiles faintly, brushing a gloved hand through the space above the tokens. "A debt that must come from somewhere. Perhaps a sliver from your own days. Perhaps a thread pulled from someone already unanchored, someone distant enough that fate will not mind losing them. The loom takes what it can. But you'll get your perfect day." Perfect day. The words roll across Seris's soul like the sharp edge of a blade. They think of the soldier. Brescia was her name. She had stood beside Seris in the heat of battle. She had bared her teeth at death's approach like a lioness before the hunt. And then she had fallen. Not for nothing, but not for enough. Seris had carried her broken body into the camp that night, her armor ringing with calls of triumph they could no longer feel. This is why they are here now. To live, not just relive, one perfect day. A day in which Brescia lived. Slowly, tremblingly, Seris reaches for a token. It is cool to the touch at first, but warms almost instantly in their palm, as if recognizing their intent. And then the world shifts. Time bends and mends, rolling back as smoothly as the tide. When Seris steps into the memory spun from this token, they are suddenly no longer the Seris of now. Their step is stronger, more resolute. Beside them walks Brescia, alive, whole, and grinning in the golden light of dawn. "You've got that look again," Brescia teases, elbowing them playfully. The "I'm thinking too hard" look. "It's a good day, Commander. You're allowed to smile, I promise." Seris smiles, faintly this time. It's not forced. "I'm just grateful, Brescia." They can't tell her why. They can't tell her this is borrowed. The moments flicker like a kaleidoscope of warmth, laughter shared over meals. Brescia's voice, unbroken by death, healing something within Seris's long, fractured heart. For a single day, the paladin feels human again, less burdened by the weight of their sins. It is, as the counter promised, perfect, but perfect cannot last. The spell collapses as the sun sets. The dusty hues of the bazaar rise to meet their eyes once more. Seris stands in the tent of the counter, their hand trembling now as the spent token crumbles into nothing but faint whispers of light. They feel hollowed in a way that was not mentioned during the sale. Something within has bled away, ghost-like, and in the heart of the marketplace, something stirs. A figure walks now who wasn't there before, a form spectral, its edges blurry as a thought half-remembered. It turns to look at Seris with Brescia's eyes. Only, these eyes now see a split between two lives. The ghost echo cocks its head, as though testing. Seris staggers from the tent, only to find chaos spreading outward. More of these echoes roam now, birthed from too many changed paths. A fisherman standing bewildered at his emptied nets cries out. A halfling turns her head away from a sister who is no longer there. Unrest rises quickly, and Seris notices armed city guardsmen arriving at the edges of the bazaar's dancing lights. The counter steps beside Seris, watching the unfolding scene with detached bemusement. "I warned you, every borrowed day leaves its cracks in the weave. Regret is rarely content to live quietly." Seris grits their teeth, their fingers instinctively finding the comfortless hilt of their sword. This needs to stop, and thus begins the final choice. Seris gathers a group, an unlikely blend reflecting the chaos of the market. Lisa, the daring halfling rogue driven by her own fractured wish. Myron, a wizard obsessed with mapping the very nature of fate. And Odo, a warforged cleric silently questioning whether their soul might already be an echo. Together, they pull back the curtain of the counter's domain, uncovering the truth. Ropes of silver thread leading to a loom in the depths. The loom is vast, churning with futures stolen and bent, tethered to ledgers of debts unpaid. The counter watches unmoving, offering one last choice. Shatter it, chart it, or take the burden yourself. Every path births costs. Which price, Seris Valen, will you pay? Seris hesitates, their brow damp with sweat. Their hand presses to the loom, feeling the futures hum against their palm. If shattered, the echoes vanish, their lives erased but their struggles calmed. Charting leaves the system intact but ensures fewer cracks. A relic salvaged, not cleansed. To anchor themselves, though, it would mean carrying every token's cost within, shaving precious days from their own mortal thread. In the end, Seris acts, and each ending holds its shadows, its dawns. The final image lingers on Seris standing in the glow of the bazaar's last day of this year. A child flies their kite higher than any had risen into a sky untouched by borrowed regrets. And as the kite dances among clouds, something faint and ghostly drifts beside it, an echo growing ever fainter before slipping down the river. The story remains incomplete, as all stories are. What price would you pay to rewrite a single day, to taste the echoes of a perfect morning? And what would you sacrifice to protect the dawns of others? Let us know your thoughts below. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more tales from the tavern table, and may your dice always roll true